Hello, and welcome back to the Talk Pickle To Me podcast. I'm your host, Pickleball Chick, aka Caitlin Kerr. I found pickleball in 2022, and it absolutely changed my life. I started this podcast to create deeper conversations in pickleball, allow the audience to connect with leaders in the space, and to share the joy of the sport. I would really appreciate you supporting the channel by subscribing on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Feedback is greatly appreciated, and we always want a fire 5 stars. Also, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Talk Pickle To Me. Today, I am so excited to have one of my very good friends here on the podcast, Casey Brown. Casey Brown is a powerhouse businesswoman in the event space, and in the pickle world, she is most known for founding the greatest event in pickleball history, the Necker Island Pickleball Forum. Casey Brown, talk pickle to me.
Oh, well, thank you for having me, Caitlin. I'm so excited, and congratulations on your podcast. It's exciting to be here. So I'm very thankful to be here. So thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited for everyone to get to know your story better today and hear a little bit about the Pickleball Forum, the greatest event that everyone wants to go to, that everyone's been asking me about throughout the years. This is my second year attending, and it's amazing. But first, I want to get into a little bit about you. I want to give the audience a little bit of background, like where you grew up, what was life like? You know, were you an athlete? Did you focus on academics? Give us a little background of Casey Brown.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So I grew up in a small town, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Amish country, as many people know. And I love that small town. Spent my summers in Stone Harbor, New Jersey with my family. I'm very close with my family.
They're the best ever.
Thank you. So thankful that they're able to join the event. My dad is now a huge pickleball fanatic, and thank you. He speaks highly of you all the time. I grew up in Pennsylvania in this small town. I always loved bringing people over to my house because I thought it was fun just to bring everyone from who knows what. Back in the day when you would put on your AIM message, you know, I'd be like, come on over. And so I always enjoyed bringing people together. And that being said, I've always just loved people. And then summers on the shore, I'm a huge water person. Boating, anything on the water. When you grow up next to the water, I think it really speaks to you. And it's just a huge piece of my family and I. And I always thought I'd be the girl that stayed in my hometown. Everyone thought I'd be the first one to get married, to stay in my hometown, never move away. And you know, that didn't happen. I actually followed my best friend out to ASU. I will say my boyfriend at the time, he was playing golf for UNLV. So there was a little bit of a reason to go out west as well. But my best friend since first grade, and who was actually at the event this past year, she was kind of the inspiration to go out west. And I landed up in Arizona. And I actually hated it the first year. I felt really lonely. I found myself working at one of the nicest restaurants in Scottsdale, and I was a hostess, and I didn't find myself partying or doing those kinds of things that I had done previously in high school. I really enjoyed work. And what happened is I was out volunteering for Ironman. My dad had done events my entire life. I grew up with going to, you know, some of the top marathons, the New York City Marathon, Ironman in Kona, all these large events throughout the entire, the world actually. And so I found myself volunteering at Ironman in Arizona during the hottest period of the year, which they have since moved the date. And I knew that I loved volunteering, and I knew that I loved being around the energy of sports and triathlon. And so the very next day, I actually got an internship with a local triathlon, mountain bike, marathon company, which then we can speak later, Lifetime acquired. But so yeah, from a small town, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, East Coaster at heart, but found myself out in Arizona and stayed there for 13 years. So yeah, me as a person, family is everything to me. My friends are everything to me. And really just my goal in life, I think is, I just want to bring everyone together, and I want to share the happiness. Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. learn something new every time I talk to you, I feel like, about you. But number one, we're both from Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, we both love the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
Number three, we are so family focused and family dominant, and we have like tight knit groups of friends that we just like love and pour everything into. So I think that's awesome. I love to hear that you were using like your AIM profile to get people to come over to your house. I didn't know that.
That was real. I was like everybody from all different school districts. And then my parents were like, there's 150 people down in the basement of all different like backgrounds. And I'm like, I love it. This is great. And so I now look back and I'm like, wow, I think I was already starting to do that back then. But I have the best parents who let me do that. So yeah. Yeah,
you do have amazing parents, which are just a treasured gift in this world. I say always, if you have good family and good parents, you already hit the lottery. No money could ever replace that. So you are blessed.
So true. So are you.
So, yes, I am. So you attended Arizona State, and you said you got an internship. You were always around these, like you said, triathlons, Ironmans, because of your dad, who that was the other thing I wanted to mention. I saw him at the Necker Island Pickleball Forum. It was later in a day. It was before dinner. And your dad literally was exhausted. He was like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go. I was like, I'm going to go like try to kite surf. And I was like, do you want to come? And he's like, I've been on court all day. And he's like, I just come here and I'm so obsessed with pickleball. So he's like definitely become obsessed. Kelly's become obsessed, your other friend. And it's just awesome to see how like that forum literally has brought people to the sport in such a crazy way.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, my dad, for years, he was doing these marathons, getting up at 4 a.m., doing Ironmans, doing all these crazy things. And then, he's kind of had a little bit of an intermission, I would say. And so pickleball last year, when he came to the first Necker Island Pickleball Forum, he really dove in. And so now I think he's dove in a little bit too much, but he's in love with it. And so yeah, it's been great. It's been some of my best friends who never picked up a paddle until last year. And then my dad and a lot of other people, and now they're obsessed with it. Yeah. So it's great. Yeah.
It is. Okay. So going back, you attended Arizona State and you said you got that internship, but you really you knew that you love bringing people together, but I guess you really didn't know you wanted to get necessarily into the event space post-college.
No idea. I had no idea what I wanted to do. Honestly, I had gone to a smaller state school, transferred to ASU. I actually felt completely lost until I came across this program. And I had already had my internship at this point, but it was the special events program. And it was at the downtown campus at ASU. And it changed my life because I already had this internship that I had kind of fallen into just through volunteering. And then I landed on this special events program that I didn't even know ASU offered. And so those professors changed my life. They were really mentors for me, and they really helped me understand, like, okay, I think this is the path for you. You're already in it. You didn't know what you wanted to do before. You're clearly loving your internship. You're traveling around the world doing these events. And they really helped guide me through some tough times. So I was balancing both school at that time along with my internship, which was actually a full-time job. So yeah, I was a girl that had zero idea what she wanted to do. And I strongly suggest that if you don't know what you want to do in life, to go volunteer or go put yourself in areas where you do have passions, because that's how it happened for me.
Yes, I can definitely resonate with that as well. I did my MBA at Temple University, and they had a Fox Board Fellows program where basically you could get a fellowship with a local nonprofit in the Philadelphia area. So it was like during COVID or a little after COVID. And I was like, I don't want to volunteer with anybody in the local area. I want to volunteer for USA Pickleball, what I'm most passionate about. And so I did that, and, wasn't following the strict guidelines or the rules that were necessarily laid out. But like you said, I think if you follow your passions, it definitely will lead you to the right place. So walk us through your career progression after college.
Yeah, definitely. So while I was in my actual career during college, because it quickly became from an internship to 40 hours a week, we started off doing events all around the country. It was actually for an athletic brand who made running skirts for women. And so we did a bunch of events throughout the country, probably 8 to 12 a year. And women actually got a 3-minute start and men started 3 minutes after, and they would try to catch up. And I actually, looking back on that, I don't actually know if I agree with that whole thing, but it was also a big party at the event as well. So I was traveling the country while I was still in college. The company was called Red Rock, which is really funny because we'll go down that path later. But yeah, Red Rocks, they came to me for an internship, and we produced multiple triathlons in the Arizona state and outside, mountain bike events, marathons, half marathons, running events, and every event that we did had an entertainment component attached to it. So it wasn't just like a race. It had music entertainment. It had, a whole festival afterwards, which I love. So I worked on this farm called Ohana with a small team and for Red Rock. And we were actually acquired. My boss, who I am still good friends with, he actually works at Lifetime now, which happens to be booming with pickleball. But he was trying to go buy a mountain bike race, famously known, the Leadville 100 mountain bike race. And so it was between him or the owner of Lifetime, and the owner of Lifetime won. However, within that, Lifetime acquired Red Rock. And so I started working for Lifetime. And there was about 5 or 6 of us that oversaw about 130 events nationally throughout the states and Mexico. And we were on the road for, 30 weeks a year, back to back to back. Some of the events that we did, were the Chicago Triathlon, the New York City Triathlon. We did a ton of women's events. Esprit de She was a women's event series that I oversaw. And Athleta was our title sponsor. And so we would go around throughout the country and we would throw these running events that were attached with entertainment. And we did a ton of stuff within Lifetime. It wasn't actually in the club itself, but we would work with the club. So while we would work with the partnerships team, we weren't actually producing events at the club. It was totally separate. And I loved it, and it was great. And I loved my team. They became my Ohana. That's a big thing for me, is that team should be, these small teams, you spend so much time with them that I think that you really have to be able to know each personality and what they need and what they want. And so every team is so, so special to me. So I worked for Lifetime for 8 or 9 years. And then, I actually was in a bad car accident, so it kind of made me rethink, what do you want in life? And so I take some time off work, and I actually went on all these like women's retreats for yoga and surfing, and I traveled the world and tried to really understand, okay, what do I want? I've been doing this for 8 or 9 years. I'm really burnt out because we were on the road so much, and it was so much of my time and energy, and I'm so thankful for it. And I actually landed up in the British Virgin Islands, and I was getting my sailing certifications because it was something that I wanted to do. And I was actually moored out at Bitter End, which is now rebuilt since the hurricane. And I sent an email to a company. I was just like looking up. I'd never, ever asked for a job in my entire life. People had come to me, thankfully. I'm very thankful for that. And, I was just like, oh, this might be cool to do events in the British Virgin Islands. Is there any events, or are there any events down here that might look interesting, just to see if I could volunteer for? Again, going back to volunteering, because I think that's the way to get your foot in the door. And I came across this event, this amazing event on Necker, did not hear back from them. And now I understand why, because it was such a prestigious event. I had no idea. And then a year later, I met them in person. And so that had already started my my foot in the door to start producing some of these events on Necker Island.
What
and
event
bringing
was
people
that?
together.
Was that the tennis event?
Yeah, so that was Necker Cup. So the guys, they kudos to them. They built this event up from the ground. I think it's about 13 years now. And I had the privilege of coming in and the privilege of becoming a partner on Premier Live, and who produces the event. And so, I was able to see what they were doing and see some other events on Necker and what they were doing. And, I have so much respect for what they've done. They were kind of the first to go in and do something. And Richard obviously loves tennis. And so I was starting to pivot my way into the tennis world already, and into this interesting group of people, of 50,000 people I was no longer interested in doing at that time. And I wanted to really curate and do things that were smaller. But at the same time, when I was sailing, I was also getting notifications. People were reaching out to me. NCAA wanted to do the first women's triathlon at ASU, and that really spoke to me. That was something huge, that women were finally getting into the sport with triathlon, and they asked me to produce that. So I went and finally said, you know what, I'm going to start my own company. And I started doing contract work like that. So that was one of my first projects. And then also this is super random. I never thought this would be something that I would do, but I had the opportunity to work on Wonder Woman projects leading up to the launch of the 2020 premiere of the Wonder Woman movie. And I took that contract as well after my sailing expedition. And we went all over the country for about, I think it was a year and a half or 2 years before the pandemic kind of hit. And that event, looking back, really helped me grow. We were producing events all over the country, and these women and men and people of all sorts from all different backgrounds were coming, and they were coming out to do a run or walk to really push themselves. A lot of them had overcome a lot of things, and we had entertainment and so many really cool activations. So that took up some of my time. But, long story short is I started my own company. I really took on events that really spoke to me. And then I started to get into this space where I really focused on Necker and some of the other events that I'm focusing on. Yeah.
I love it. I love that career progression. It was kind of, like you said, you found something that you were passionate about in college. You knew you liked bringing communities together, and then you just started. I think for a lot of people, it's hard to just start. Like, it takes one step to get that forward momentum going. And once you have momentum, it will land you in the right place. And now you have founded the Necker Island Pickleball Forum. Talk a little bit about, first, let's talk about, how did you find pickleball?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I had grown up playing tennis. My parents threw me into all kinds of sports, but I was really a dancer, was what I spent most of my time on. And when I was with the Inspiring Children, which is an amazing foundation out in Vegas, we were at one of their retreats, and it was December, and they were like, we're all going to play pickleball. And I was like, what is this? I'm used to them playing tennis and everything like that, but I played some pickleball with them, and I was horrible. I'm not going to lie. I was awful at it, but I had a lot of fun with them. And, if you're around Inspiring Children in general, you will just have an amazing time. These kids are incredible in what they've built out there. So that was my first experience with pickleball. So that was probably about a year and a half before the pandemic, or a year before the pandemic. I can't really remember. So it was actually during the pandemic. I was actually living in Nashville for a brief little bit. And I was, totally off kilter. All my events had gone away. The world was kind of upside down. Nobody knew what was really going on. And so I wasn't working. I was actually like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go work at a grocery store, or am I going to start a business? Like, I honestly had no idea. But what I did know is that my friends were getting up every morning playing pickleball. And it was a lot of my friends that work in the entertainment space, a lot of musicians, a lot of entrepreneurs. And I was like, this pickleball thing is bringing people together. And I love bringing people together. And I just thought it was a beautiful thing, and it was a beautiful outlet that people had during the pandemic. So while this was occurring, even though I wasn't getting up and playing pickleball in the morning because my sleep schedule was so off, I was like, okay, there are all these amazing people coming together. This is helping people heal during a really tough time. And music also heals people too. I love music. And this pickleball thing is exploding, and it's bringing people together. So music, pickleball, and then I was like, Necker. Necker also brings people together. So those three things are all really important to me. And that's kind of how the idea came together, was, through a very tough time. I was seeing, what was bringing people together when you weren't supposed to be together. And so, yeah, that's how the idea came together. It was during the pandemic. Yeah. I
love it. There's no other word to describe it but magic. Okay, when people try to ask me to describe Necker Island Pickleball Forum, there are no words. Every time I try to describe it, like my friend Rich, when I was telling him about this, it was a couple days. It was like, a couple days, weeks before the event, whatever. And I'm like, honestly, I think you'd be the perfect person. I'm explaining it to him. He's like, I don't even know what White Lotus is, but he's like, is this like a White Lotus? Like, he's like, is this like, what am I getting myself into? Is it just like a hoax? Like, there's no way this is real. And I'm like, no, trust me. It's the greatest event you will ever go to in your life. He's like, Caitlin, we've been around the world. We've been to the best places. We've been to the Four Seasons. I'm like, no, like, I think it's the hospitality. The hospitality is off the charts. There's 100 people that work on Necker Island each day, and they treat you like family. It's amazing. The food is spectacular. It's delicious. It's healthy. Anything you want, you can have. The people are just the best people in the world, and you have cultivated such an amazing experience. The nature aspect of it, beautiful nature. They have unbelievable animals. We had a baby kangaroo, or two baby kangaroos, baby deer, flamingos, tortoises. I mean, anything. It's just incredible. And obviously the ocean. And then you have activities, anything you want to do. I love water, all the water sports. I learned to kite surf. You can e-foil. You could do, we did the sailing adventure that we won, Shark Bite, shout out.
You did win. Congratulations. Yes, you did.
Your dad, Kelly, and
Kate.
Kate, and Ruben. Shout out Ruben.
Yeah, shout out to Ruben on Necker. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, and then pickleball. And then on top of the pickleball, we have live performances every night from the most incredible performers. And on it, like, I just can't explain it. And then the forum, like, we're talking all like, you're activating your like brain at the same time because you're speaking to so many interesting people. They're talking about their businesses, how they see the world. So, like, can you basically sum up what the Necker Island Pickleball Forum is better than I can? Because I just feel like you have to experience it.
Well, I don't know if I can actually sum it up better than you can, because the way you just put it was incredible. And because you've actually lived and experienced it, I think that's the most important thing, is to hear it from people that experience it. So thank you for that. I mean, honestly, the energy that you bring to the island is magical, as Richard said last year. We had a brief thing that we could speak about. But yeah, I honestly, how you just put it, it makes me really happy inside and really proud of what our team has done, and the team from Necker Island has done as well, because you mentioned in there just their hospitality, and it is incredible. So the whole essence of the Necker Island Pickleball Forum, I think people can see it a little bit differently. It depends what mindset you're really going into. But when I went to Necker, I did say I want to do a pickleball event on Necker, and I want to include, music and Necker and all the special things that you just mentioned. And so the whole essence of the entire event itself is to bring people from the pickleball industry. Obviously, that's really important. We want people that love pickleball, who you can be a starter. We had a bunch of starters, people that are now, had never picked up a paddle, and now they are fanatics, and they are playing pickleball several times a week and maybe even a day. So we have a bunch of people that entered last year that were newbies. And we also have people that, have been really committed to pickleball for 20 years actually, or they've been playing hardcore for the past 4 years. So we have people that, come out that they obviously love pickleball. They want to get into pickleball. They're invested in pickleball, whether it's, Connor Pardo from the PPA, Jason from UPA. The Kitchen, obviously, is invested in pickleball, and many other partners out there. Yola, we have all these different people that are out there that are really invested in the sport. But we also have a bunch of people that are kind of, from the sports background, or these serial entrepreneurs that are starting to get into the sport. And they're like, they're really trying to see, okay, maybe I want to open a club over here, or maybe I want to invest over here. And so while they might not be super vocal about it, when they come to the island, there are things that happen. So we do see that side of it for sure, is the pickleball investment side, and just the pickleball side of it itself. The whole reason I really wanted to create it was to bring people together. So whatever they get out of it is really for them. I think that everybody needs to come to the island with their own, be open to like what they're going to come and receive. So yes, you're going to play a ton of pickleball. We're going to have clinics in the morning from some of the top pros. We're really thankful for the pros and all the hard work that they come and they show up early in the morning for these 7:30 clinics and teaching people throughout the day. Obviously we have open play, we have a tournament, and we have a new and improved tournament style for 2026 because we had double the amount of people that wanted to play this past year. So, thank you for everyone's patience, but obviously we'll be making some big changes because, while that was really tough having the double amount of people wanting to play, that also shows the beauty of pickleball growing and how many people really want to play. So the whole essence of the forum is really, come show up with amazing energy. I would say come and don't really have expectations, but be open to receiving, because you might not receive something that you think you're going to. But with these people that are speaking to sports in the morning, whether it's someone from the PPA or you have Jen Prince, who's the CMO from Rams, or Jeremy Gorman from Fanatics, or Drew Brees, or Terrell Owens speaking about investments in pickleball or just sport in general. I think there's a lot of great people in the room that can have a lot of great conversations on island that will lead to off island. But what we also want to see is people connecting on court, all throughout the day and off court as well. And then just coming together at night, I think, is really important with this, these fun themes that we do, the Flamingo Fete, where everyone's in, pink and, really going along with the theme because the flamingo's in our logo for the Necker Island Pickleball Forum. And, honestly, just coming around and being around everyone in the music industry, like Morgan Evans and Lacey's booth on Turtle Beach. I don't know how you can wrap up that and really put it into words, how just magical that is. Mm-hmm. Or, Rachel Platinum was there last year, and just, I still hear about it. It's been over a year, and just how much she changed everyone's life. So it's not just about pickleball. Pickleball is definitely the anchor of this event, and Necker is the anchor, but there's so much more to pickleball, or to the Necker Island Pickleball Forum, I would say. So yeah. I don't know. I think you summed it up much better than I did, actually.
I actually think you did. I mean, there's so many things that are coming to mind where the experiences are truly once in a lifetime. And also, like you said, I think what resonated with me the most is coming without expectations and being open to receiving, because you really never know what you're going to experience on the island. I had no idea I was going to sit there and feed a baby kangaroo in my arms like a baby with milk. And then the next second I'm playing against, I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I was cheering for Terrell Owens. I never thought I would be smack talking Terrell. I always say his name wrong. It's not Terrell. Terrell. Anyway, T.O. on the pickleball court, right? And then, I'm hanging out with Drew Brees, is the nicest, most down-to-earth guy ever. His
so
family,
nice
Brittany, cannot believe that he's a real human because he's so smart. He's so athletic. He's so nice. He's such a good family man. He's great at investing, super into franchising. You just learn so much. And then what I actually was surprised about this year, there were so many amazing content creators. And I am a very noob content creator and in the YouTube space. And there were so many amazing people, starting it off with, Madeline Bailey, an amazing singer, but she's also creating I don't even know how you want to put it, a YouTube channel for kids, because she just has a 1.5-year-old girl, her first baby. And she's creating this entire learning course for kids with her voice and her music. And she's crushed it on socials. And so many other people like Rosanna and Lar DIY, just having those connections were just so incredible for me to look up to and inspire to be. And yeah, I'm going to talk to them for a long time now going forward. So I think that was something that was new for me. And we didn't even talk that much about all the water sports activities, the hardest bike ride of my entire life that I did with Richard Branson both years. That was incredible.
Congratulations, by the way. I think you stepped up your game, you said, this year. So how was that?
I got lost so last year I was late because the boat was late picking me up or something. And then this year I was I am going to be on time, whatever, making sure that everything was smooth. I was there and my bike, like I had trouble with my bike. And so everyone took off and I was there behind and I made 2 wrong turns in the beginning and then a wrong turn at the end. So I did extra work. I was like literally stranded and then I still finished. And I was like, I am proud of myself because that is the hardest bike ride. But this time in my head, it was so mental. This is what I told your dad. I said, I thought it was going to be hell like for a second time. And it was actually easier this time because I told myself, it's never ending. Just keep pedaling. Whereas the first time I always thought the next hill was going to be the final hill. This one I was like, there's no end. Just keep going. And it was actually much better. So, but that bike ride's incredible. And you're there with Richard Branson. And like you said, Morgan Evans, an amazing country singer.
Did Morgan do the whole bike ride or did
Morgan did the whole bike ride.
He did. Okay.
With Christy Jenkins, have Brad Tersey, who is from Old Dominion, who is one of my favorite bands ever.
Yep.
Him and his fiance Roxy are so nice. And they actually did the hike. They hiked while we biked. So anyway, you just make amazing connections and everyone's there from such like a gracious and loving place that it's just amazing. And there's no like pressure. I feel like you go to a lot of these events, like there's so many forums now in pickleball. There's so many events that you can go to like network. But this feels like not networking. This feels just like hanging out and doing what you love and meeting awesome people. And like, you're going to meet great people and hear interesting stories. I actually really connected with Jeremy's husband. They're actually
amazing.
Owners in an NWSL soccer team in LA. We were talking all about that and, different investments that he has. And so I just think you get to meet like-minded people that are interesting, that are fun, that are smart, that love pickleball. So you've just done a fantastic job.
Well, thank you. I mean, honestly, I feel like, the most important part of to me is the people that we bring together. And I want to make sure that they're good people, that, they have an interest in sports or entertainment, or that they want to be on the court and they want to be a part of the group. I think that's really important to me is that, we do background checks, not like a full FBI background check, but, we make sure that these people are good people. Yeah. Sometimes you never know what you're going to get. But I think that when you bring people from different backgrounds together, especially with the new sport of pickleball, it's not actually a new sport, but, with the growth of pickleball, some of these people from other sporting backgrounds and some of these other backgrounds that are interested in pickleball, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with pickleball on the side, on the side of football. Will they throw a pickleball party, outside, to help promote, fan engagement or certain things like that. Yeah. So I think it's really cool to see that. And, some of those content creators that we brought out, they love pickleball or they want to, play more. They live for it. And so they've already been invested in it. So it's like, how can everyone benefit each other is really what you just summed up. And that is, I think, the beauty of what Necker is itself. And when you step on Red Dock, Richard and his team have done a phenomenal job over the past 40 years of creating something where you step on that red dock and I feel like everyone just becomes one, It's
unbelievable.
And so it doesn't matter, like, honestly, and this is how I live my life, but, everyone's a human. Every single person. You can have a very interesting story. You can be, just like over here doing whatever. But I think everyone has a story. And when you come to Necker, there's this. And I just appreciate what Richard has built there so much, the kindness that he has, how humble he is, what a gracious host he is. And then the team at Necker itself, just how much they take care of all of our guests and really, not only is it just like us coming in and producing an event, but they really own it and they make it part of theirs as well. And I think, just everyone being kind to each other is a really important thing to me. And I think that's what you saw this past year and obviously the year before, but that is a huge essence of the whole event is kindness. I want everyone to take kindness and be able to help one another, whether it's on island or off island.
Yeah. You said it better than I ever could with the Necker team, because they are a huge reason that this is successful and that this event is as amazing as it is, because it is true. Once you step on island, you are taken care of to a degree that I have never seen before in any of my travels. And like you said, Richard, the first year that I was on island, I actually didn't believe it was real life. Richard said that I had to Casey that I had the best, like I was having the best day of my life. And it was 100% true. And going back on island for the second time this year, it was again true because he is so inspiring. He is, I think he's in his 70s, I want to say.
He's in his 70s.
He is the most active human. Like I live a very active lifestyle. Richard does not stop doing it. If he feels a little bit of wind, he will go kite surfing. If he is, after kite surfing, he's walking to go play chess against somebody random that's a part of the group. After that, he's going to play on the pickleball court. After that, he's going to eat a healthy meal. Like he is nonstop. He took us on a hike around the whole island. We did the bike ride. Like he is so gracious with his time and knowledge and energy. Another short story is like I have high cholesterol randomly. And I was like, anyway, long story short, and then I was like talking about my TSH levels and he was like, oh my God, I'm going to text my son right now. Like he has this amazing medicine and he's texting his son and he's like trying to get the information to me. So he's just, again, who am I to Richard? Nobody, but like also at the same time, he's so nice and he's so caring and he's so loving and it doesn't matter who you are. He's there to like help you and, just share a human connection, which is incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible. I mean, we are around a bunch of really interesting, amazing people. And some people have had extreme success. And something that what you just said is Richard treats everybody the same. He is so humble, he is so caring. And I think that it's been really inspiring for everybody, just to sit there and watch and to really observe of who he is and his family as well. Because Sam's incredible too. Mm-hmm. He is super kind. So I think we're all just very, very, very fortunate to be able to step on that island and to be able to be a part of what they've created together. And really have a lot of respect for both him and Joan for creating that island.
It's amazing. All right. So let's talk about goals professionally for you. Do you have any goals for the next 5 years?
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting that you asked that question because over the past week, after any event, you're kind of in this post-event mode and you're like, okay, what am I going to do? So when I'm at an event, I'm already saying, what am I going to do next year? How am I going to improve next year? This year was a big learning experience, which, I have decided always go with my gut. I have never been off course when I have not gone with my gut. And I kind of this year, I love giving people opportunities. And so with that being said, I just didn't go with my gut. And that is a learning experience. And that's not saying anything bad about anybody. Yeah. But while I'm at an event, I'm always sitting there saying, okay, what am I going to improve? What am I going to do? How am I going to change this up? How am I going to freshen this up? How is this going to be different? So I'm already working on next year. We have a whole new style for next year of how we're going to be running our clinics, how we're going to have more pros on island, how we're going to have our tournament be a two-day tournament. And so that growth has already been something that I've been working on both on the island and off the island. So I'm always looking for ways to improve. I'm always looking for ways to improve myself, whether it's, signing up for courses or taking, going to certain things to learn, how can I be a better leader? How can I be a better teammate? How can I do better is a huge part of my life. This year, what I really, really want to focus on is just making next year incredibly successful. And whatever that success is different for each and every person that comes to the island. But for me, I just want to be able to curate another amazing group of people. I have some people in mind that I'd really love to have there to add value. Whether, maybe I just think it's cool to have them there, but I actually think they would be great for everybody. And just to keep taking up a notch every single year is something that's very important to me because I don't like when events go stale. Mm-hmm. And, when you reach a third year, sometimes people can be like, okay, it's year 3. I'm not sure if I'm going to come. But my focus is to create something fresh while still keeping the anchor and the core of what it is at its essence. And then while I'm building, that, I'm also open to doing some other events that people have been knocking on my door. And, I truly am a firm believer in bandwidth. I used to say yes to a lot of things. And then I took a step back with some mentors and was like, okay, why don't you just focus on doing great on certain things? and only a few things, rather than spending so much time scattered around and doing so many different things. You can do good, but I actually want to do great. So I think right now it's focusing on this event. It's picking the other appropriate things that I want to do that really fit within my bandwidth. It's growing my team. I want to add some team members, which is always super exciting, and some interns. I love giving people the experience to grow. Back in the day, every single person that I actually ended up hiring was originally a volunteer turned intern. So I think there's something to be said there. And I think another really big thing, and this actually came up last year when Richard picked me up in the cart after he had driven you up to the great house. And he was like, wow, this girl has just, had the best day of her life, or however he said it. And I was like, yeah, she definitely is. Like, you were just like all smiles. You had a phenomenal day. And he was in a pirate costume because he had just, took his Hobie cat and sailed it right up to the cruise ship while we were all in the split. But a conversation that I had with Richard on the way down was about service and how important service was to him. And I think for me, something that's really, really come to mind over the past few years is something that I've always been passionate about is service and giving back. So with this event, we've been able to raise over $1 million in the past 2 years for the Breeze Foundation and Virgin Unite, which obviously huge supporters, Gateway for Cancer Research, Inspiring Children, and Dollar Donation Club. And so I think a really big focus over the next 5 years for me is how can I give back more? Not only by raising money, but how can I get my hands dirty and really be a part of service? And we'll see where that takes me, and really relying on my mentors. I think surrounding yourself with good people is really, really important. I think that you should have a small group of people. You shouldn't have like 100 different people. You can obviously always go to people to learn, but to really just put more time with my mentors and be like, okay, where can I do better? Where do you see me growing? And following that gut feeling. I think that's really it's all going to come down to. And the Necker Island Pickleball Forum, I mean, we want that around for 30 years. So we're going to be looking for ways to improve and maybe bringing it to other areas of this world. But Necker Island will always be our Super Bowl, as I say. And so what about you? I'd love to know about you. Yeah.
No, enough about me. These people don't want to hear about me. They're here for you, Casey. You're sweet. But I think that's great. I think you've always, the past 2 years, you've put a big focus on, helping nonprofits. And I think that's great. And I also love the fact that, Necker is just a dream location for so many people to go to. It's not something that you can just get up and be like, I want to go to Necker today. It's very hard. And I think that's a good goal to lean into the next couple years. One question I wanted to ask you that I also asked Lee Waters is, you have an iconic style that so many people love. I love your outfits.
Thank you. That's really kind of you.
Every time you stepped out this past trip, I was like, okay, I love that outfit. I love your shoes. I love that outfit. I love your shoes. So for anybody listening, do you have any favorite stores or brands to shop?
Oh, I definitely have my go-to stores. Anthropologie is definitely one of my stores. That for sure. When it comes to athleisure, it's really funny because I've been working in sports for over 20 years. And so I was always shopping at Lululemon. That was like, I would call it my uniform, because before everyone was wearing athleisure, I was wearing it. So obviously I go to Lululemon. Vuori, I'm a huge Vuori fan now. The Breeze family actually got me into that. So thank you for that. But yeah, Anthropologie is definitely a go-to for me. And Mother, I love Mother jeans and shorts. And I mean, J. Pichard, they had a room drop. So their stuff was beautiful this past event. Yola, I've been rocking some Yola gear off the court. And but Anthropologie, we are good friends. That's for sure.
I bought the shirt. I bought the dress. Sorry, the dress that you had on. Remember, me and Kate Fahey were like, we love your dress. I meant
Which
to
one
send
was
you a
it?
picture of that. It was the one that had the straps in the back, and it has like shells and like different designs on the front, like different colors. It's very beachy.
Oh, Farm Rio. Farm Rio.
Is it? I don't think it's a Farm Rio
Maybe?
one.
No. I don't know, because I mean that's at Anthropologie too. Yes,
that's at Anthropologie. It was the last small in stock. I was like,
oh, I'm glad that you got it. That's amazing. I love that. Yes, no, definitely.
I love it. Well, Case,
yeah, I love that. That's
been amazing. Last question: do you have any dream attendee?
Yeah, I have a few dream attendees, and some of them I won't actually speak because I feel like I'm kind of weird if I say it out loud. Like,
put it out into the universe.
Yeah. So when we talk about good people on the island, Jay Shetty is actually somebody that I would absolutely love to have on the island. He is somebody that I really, really, really want there. I just think that he has a really positive mindset, and I think that plays into both sport and just to people that we bring onto the island and to everybody. So Jay Shetty is really, really high on my list right now. When it comes to musicians, I'm a huge music person, and so I don't know. I think I'm going to keep that one to myself. But Jay Shetty, I don't know if you know the book, and it's going around now, but Mel Robbins. Yeah, I think she's incredible. I really think it's really important to bring people that have, really taken a deep dive into just our strengths and weaknesses in life and how to get through them. And I think that those kind of people on island would be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And when it comes to pickleball, I see all these cool celebrities and these entrepreneurs that have gotten into pickleball. And so, just having T.O. this year on island was so inspirational, like, because he was just so happy. He was so thankful to be there. And so those are the kind of people that I want there. The people that are thankful, that are gracious, that are kind to each other, and that are going to have friendships that come off once they leave Necker. So, but yeah, Jay Shetty is definitely up there.
I love that one.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah. What about you? Because I have a huge question. Like, I always ask, the clients, and I always ask people, and I really appreciate everything you've been to us, obviously, at the Necker Island Pickleball Forum. You've been amazing to us, and just the energy, you really share it in such a positive, wonderful manner in which we want. But if you had a few dream guests on island, who would you like to see in the future?
That is really tough. As you were saying that, I'm like, I hope she doesn't ask me this right back. I think, one person that I've loved their country. I'm a big country music fan.
Same.
So, like a Luke Combs, I think would be amazing. I actually saw him perform right before he blew up, and I was in Key West, and it was this basically festival where it was all singer-songwriters, and we were in this tiny bar, and he performed, I forget the song that it was, but he was bawling his eyes out on stage, being like, this song literally just changed my entire life. And now it's like, obviously 6 years or whatever it is later, 8 years, longer than that, longer than 6 years, 8 years, 10, I don't know. But that would have been amazing. That would be amazing to have him, because it seems like he is just such a great person. And I love, love, love his style of music.
I agree.
From a pickleball perspective, I think just like awesome athletes. Like, I would love to have like a Patrick Mahomes and his wife. I think like that could be interesting, because his wife is super involved on like the women's side of professional soccer, and he's a huge athlete and like clearly has been playing pickleball. We could throw in a Taylor Swift or a Travis Kelce. We're going big there.
So it's interesting you say that, because Kylie Kelsey is someone who I would really love to have.
I would love. Okay,
she's on my list.
Kylie Kelsey and Jason Kelsey. Scratch everyone else. Those two. We want them.
I want them.
That would be amazing. And then pickleball players. There's so many amazing people in pickleball, and the pros that you had this year were incredible. Pros that you had last year were incredible. They just show up like every day, ready to play, ready to get to know people, and I loved it.
Speaking of that, I would like to say a quick thank you to Roscoe, to Jesse, to Donald, to Gabe, to Don. Wait, where did we go here?
Gabe,
Jesse, Kate. Yeah, let's restart that. Okay. Roscoe, Jesse, Kate, Gabe, Connor, and Donald. They worked so hard this year, and I just really want to say thank you for all their hard work. They were incredible. Yeah.
They did amazing. And there's so many other pros that are great that will be great additions. Like, they're just awesome. So, yeah.
Do you have any ideas? If you could throw two names out there, I would love to hear.
I love Deckelbar. I think he's a great person. He has his own like getaways company. Yep. So he understands what like hospitality is, and he understands what a trip is. And he's just a great person. And I would love to have him. Yeah. He wants to learn. He's super smart. But he's also like a phenomenal pickleball player. He's from Israel. I love him. So definitely Deckel. And I'll throw a female out there. Let me think. I think okay. One of my favorite pros is Chow Yi Wang. Okay. She came over. She's a Yola player. She's living in Maryland, right near the Yola headquarters.
Love that.
She was kind of like a I don't want to say like a case study, but like it was the first person they kind of like brought over to the US to see if they could like train and build. And she's been phenomenal. She should be in Premier this year. And she's so sweet, and she's always so nice. And she has one of the best backhand flicks in the game. She's traveled a bunch, and she's just like a sweetheart. So I think she could be a really good addition as well.
I love those two. I don't know them personally, but I would love to have them in the future because, it's really important for us. Just, you can love the game, but if you're not open to wanting to be a part of the whole community and everything like that, it's probably not going to work. So, we just want good people on the island. So I'm going to keep those two names in mind, and you might likely see them on island next year.
I love it. I love it. Well, Casey, thank you so much for coming on to talk Pickle to me. I'm sure so many people learned a lot about your background, but more importantly, some life lessons to incorporate into their lifestyle and into their business side of things. So thank you. And to everybody listening, if you guys want to get in touch, or if you guys want to be a part of the Necker Island Pickleball Forum, please reach out. We are here to talk to you about it. And if it sounds like something that a friend would be interested in, or a colleague, please send it their way. I mean, this is a really, really special event. And obviously it's kind of like, what would you say, one of the best experiences of your entire life?
Yeah, I think it's a memory. It's one of the best experiences of your life. It's a memory that you will hold within your heart forever. And, thank you so much for having us on, having me here, and then coming to Island as well. But I think it's just a memory. It's a core memory that you will never forget. And it's so special. And especially if you care about pickleball. And March 8th, 2026 to March 13th, 2026. I can't believe it's almost like it goes so fast. So we're really excited to have it next year. So just thank you again, Caitlin, so much for having me. Thank you.
Oh, of course. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Talk Pickle to Me with Casey Brown. Please make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Talk Pickle to Me. I am at pickleball.chick. Casey, where can we find Necker Island?
At NeckerIslandPickleballForum.com.
I love it. Awesome. Get all your information about Necker Island Pickleball Forum. If you have any questions, like I said, please reach out. Please make sure you guys are giving us feedback. Comments are appreciated. 5 stars. Please give us that 5 stars. That's awesome. And make sure you come back for our next episode. New episodes drop every single Wednesday. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Caitlin. Thank you so much.